Wagwan. So we're going to start a new video series today, and this is going to be the PizzaCam restoration series. I've acquired this PizzaCam. Of course, they bring on the ATVs when I turn on the camera. I acquired this PizzaCam quite a while ago, and I've been a irresponsible bot owner and not ran it or taken care of it. But that's about to change. I know I have a lot of other projects in the works, like going on, but I guess that's just how I roll. I just always have a lot of projects going on and in progress. So just because I'm starting this project doesn't mean I'm not finishing any of my other projects. I'm just another. My neighbors are running their ATVs back and forth. Just, you know, another thing I want to work on. Since you guys like the animatronic videos, I want to try something different on this project where I'm pretty much not going to edit the videos, and so you guys are just going to get a raw taste of what it's like to try to restore these. And like I said before, I'm not an expert, but you guys seem to like these videos. I like to post things to my channel of things that I would want to watch. And you know, believe it or not, I was a kid once and didn't own any bots. When I was a kid, I didn't own any bots. So these are things that I would have want to watch when I was a kid. So we'll just jump right into it. Okay, first thing we're going to do is decapitate them and just work on just the head mech. For those of you who are following at home, it's a 7/16 nut. For usually this is all thread, but this is actually a bolt with this. The biggest thing is when you're doing long-term projects like this, tearing stuff apart, putting it back together, it might be, and this is another reason why I want to film this, it might be a while till I put it back together. So keeping your parts in order is a must, pretty much. So I'm going to put all the parts in this Ziploc bag. And this one's actually spinning. And then this should be flexible enough that I should be able to, yep. Oh, a part fell off. Okay, now you can throw that away as it will not be used anymore. You know what, I'm going to go ahead and, because I'm probably going to be cleaning this, I'm going to go ahead and take these screws all the way out. Actually, these nuts I'm going to put back on here. And two more. Uh-oh. See, I've already... Oh, you know what? I forgot to, when I put the other one in, I forgot to put this other nut in. It's very easy to lose track of hardware. Okay, and then this little collar fell off the eyepiece. And actually the other side is missing the collar. Luckily that's that's an off-the-shelf part. So that won't be any big deal. That won't be a big deal. Okay, so next we'll cut the tie wraps and we'll unbolt the head mech. So this should be... Oh. Forgot to move the camera. Okay, so we'll cut the tie wraps and unbolt it. It's a 7/16, so I need a 7/16 socket for the bottom side. Okay, to cut tie wraps, we'll use diagonal cutters. The interesting thing to note right off the bat, one thing I noticed, I'll just cut this hose. is they have a splice right here, and it seemed like that splice, this hose must have been rubbing up against this hard part, this corner of the frame. So that's something to keep in mind when we're routing the hoses in the future. Oh, so it's sitting on top of it. Okay. And to try to make this educational for you guys, I'm using a 1/4-inch drive. Your ratchets are based off of the mating connector, and this is a 1/4-inch. 1/4-inch drive with a 7/16 socket. And shallow, I don't need a deep well. And when you're wrenching bolts, so I'm using a open-end wrench and a ratchet. When you're wrenching bolts, you always want to try to, whenever possible, sometimes you can't do it, turn the nut side. So you always want to put your ratcheting wrench on the nut side. That way you're not actually turning the whole bolt inside. So. And they had a lock washer. So this is a lock washer, in case you guys don't know. It's a split washer. And the joke at work is that they're used to assist in removing the nut. Because they could be used to assist in removing the nut, because if you put inward pressure on the nut and you're spinning the bolt side, it would lock it up. And then they're just using a flat washer on the top there. So I'm gonna put this together and put it in the bag. And we got one more. And there we go, we are decapitated. Okay, we'll just take a moment and do an overview of the mech. So basically, the head has 1, 2, 3, 4 movements, but it has 5 actuators because the eyes crossed are on one movement and on 2 different actuators. And my Pasquale robot has eyes left, right. This doesn't. This has eyes straight or eyes crossed. And pretty much, we're missing a collar, the set screws are missing, but the actuators are there. And from my experience, these little spring return actuators, so all the eyes movement on these bots are pneumatic stroke and spring return. On Pasquale, if you remember, I just went ahead and bought new actuators. The other 3 actuators are double stroke, which means they use pneumatic power to go to stroke and to retract. One thing to note, they put a collar on the mouth to prevent the mouth from closing all the way, and that probably is needed for the mask, so the mask doesn't get ruined. But it looks like it's kind of broken. It looks like they just used some pneumatic tube to do that. But pretty much these mechs are really simple. Aluminum frame, and then some of these linkages are just steel. I really don't know how. I don't really have any backstory on this bot. Everyone always wants to be nosy about that, but I don't. But as you can see, let me get you in view here. Let me trying to get my orientation right. Okay, the actuators for the eyelids are terminated on this rod, and there's 2 different mounting holes because these head mechs were mass produced for different bots, and then they would add them to what bot they needed. And these mounting holes, you choose the mounting hole based on whether the bot has eyes rise, which my Pasquale bot has, or eyelids shut, or eyelids close, which this bot has eyelids closed. So we're just going to have to do our research when we put it back together on which hole to put it in, but obviously they crisscross the rod. They have it in the inner hole on this side and on the outer hole on this side. So that was wrong. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go and tear it completely apart and clean it and put it back together. So I think I want to keep these parts separate from this hardware bag. So I have this empty tub, so I'll use this empty tub to keep these parts in. There is some flow controls on this. We'll get rid of the tubing first. That's the first thing. But I'll keep this together for now because there is some flow controls, and there should be a T somewhere here for the eyes cross, which it looks like the T might be missing. And since I'm going to retube it anyway, I'm going to, pardon my reach, I'm going to use my politically correct diagonal cutters, and I'm just going to cut the tubing off. So then that way it's out of my way. Will this one pull off? Oh, that one pulled off. Oh, these eyes cross. Oh, they want to stay on there. Will this pull off? Nope. Okay, and I'm just going to coil this up. I'll put this in the bag. Well, yeah, one cool thing I noticed earlier, and I've seen other people with bots talk about this, but so far none of the other previous bots I had did this. Let me get it into view here. Hopefully it's focusing, but George R. engraved his name in this, and it says 6/16/80, and then there's a gouge in it so you don't know the year. 6/16/80 something. And like I said, I don't know the backstory to this bot, so don't even ask me.